I can hear you. I can see you.
Hi, Pela.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh my gosh, I have missed your face. Just happy to see you.
You too. How you been?
Still kicking. What about you?
Busy, but good, good, good. Can't complain.
Yes, you can. Can always complain.
Okay, that's true. Okay, you're right. You're right. Okay. Okay. Well, I will put it like this. I won't complain. How about
Oh,
that? Because things could be so much worse. So trying to be an optimist.
how? How do you do that? How do you do that?
What, be an optimist?
Yes.
I don't know. I it's just I think it's just the choice I make. You know, whether it's something negative, you still got to realize that there's a silver lining somewhere in it. So
We have been trying to get together for this call in the first place for
yeah,
the better part of this last year.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, what kind of things are you trying to share with people? What are you trying to help them with?
Well, um, wow, what am I trying to help them with? I want to be a voice of encouragement. So that's one thing.
Yeah.
Also, it can be something as simple as people wanting to know because I got promoted, I got a new job.
Right.
And then, so in that, people are just asking me, how do you get in human resources? How do you do it? What are the steps? Sharing career information. I like to do that.
Yeah.
Um, I like to share information with young adults about college from the perspective that there's clearly a gap between just getting your education and being prepared to go to the real world.
Yeah.
Yeah, theory is one thing, life application is something completely different. How do we bridge that gap? But seriously, those are things we need to talk about. Like even when it comes to being married,
Yeah.
what does that really look like? Okay, I know the wedding and yeah, I love you, you love me. But when life hits and life shows up, how do we navigate through that? What is it like being married a second time? The baggage that comes from our first marriages that we don't always know that we're carrying.
Yeah.
How do we navigate through that? Just, I don't know. So I don't have like, and then like with women, encouraging women. I love to encourage women. I love to encourage everybody though. So it's not
Yeah.
even just about women. It's just about helping people have tools to navigate through life. And what I would love to that what I would love to see happen is doing podcasts and also doing workshops.
Yeah.
Um, and just really being able to give them those hands, the hands-on experience,
Right.
providing tools for different things. I see a lot of kids who um, need help going to college. But many times they think they can't go, and something as simple as a FAFSA, which I've done, I don't know how many for students who
Right.
thought they couldn't go to school, showing them that, yeah, yes, you can. Actually, you'll get money back because of your situation. So
Hmm.
don't let the fact that you thought you all didn't have you weren't economically sound to go to school, you're able to go, but
Right.
just really being able to get that message out to people. So
You know what?
I'm
It's interesting because I'm thinking about what you're saying, and I remember back after high school and whatnot. It was
mhm,
fear. There was a lot of fear of like, I
out of
know that there's
fear.
no money. So rather than, address there not being money, let me just be scared and step back.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly,
How do
yes.
you how do you talk people through that?
Well, we've done some. When I was pastoring the church, I would invite kids to come in
Hmm.
and in the community and just talk to them, do a workshop, show them that, because some of them, it was a lot of them who thought because they were from single parent homes, they didn't want to put that pressure on their mom and even ask.
Right.
But some of them were they were smart kids. So just kind of talking to them about what it means to go to college, and show you a roadmap to help you get there.
Right.
And some of them have gone on to go to school.
Hmm.
So Troy tells me all the time, he said, "You just give everything away, I swear." He said, "You help people to a fault." No, I don't. But anyway,
I can hear him saying that.
yeah,
Yeah,
he tells me that. But he's like, "You're just so help. You want to help everybody." But I do.
yeah.
Yeah, I do.
The fact that you
Mhm.
want to help people, that
Mhm.
is your foundation that you build everything on. Like, okay,
Mhm.
everything we do has to have a purpose, and the underlying purpose has to be to elevate somebody else's life.
Right.
Everything you put together will be in line with that.
I'm ready now, Pella, for real. I'm ready. I am ready because I'm like, okay, I got to tell somebody something. I'm kind of like,
You
okay,
feeling it, right?
yeah, I
You know
feel
what?
it.
To be honest, this last year was difficult at
Very good.
best, difficult at best. And I feel like, I don't, did we text about how many people we had lost? That must have been it because I don't think I talked to you on the phone. But just the loss that we went through with our friends and our family was right. It's
It was
mind numbing.
mine, but yeah, I don't even have words because I even just last month lost an uncle to COVID. So I'm like around 10 people now, I think.
Yeah, and I'm not too far behind you, but
Yeah, it's horrible. And and then I'm dealing with it at work, and
yes,
so it's been tough, but I feel like like things are just kind of okay. I can kind of lift up, I can lift my head a little bit. Things are kind of lightening up a little bit now. So it's time to, but sometimes I think you have to go through things though, so that when you do, you'll be very sensitive to other people that are going through them.
I believe
And when you approach it, you can, when they approach you, you can deal with it from a place of compassion
right.
and not a place of judgment. So sometimes it's just, that's why we have to, I say that about so many things for me personally. I've been divorced, I've been a single parent. I know what it's like to be homeless. I know what it's like to raise your children by yourself. I know what it's like not to feel safe. I know what it's like to go through abuse. I know what it's like to have not have anything. I know what it's like to live, and be able to really pay your bills and live a good life. I know what it's like to be married for the second time. I mean, I know what it's like to lose a lot of people in a pandemic that you love. My best friend was the first one I lost last year. It was actually, we buried her a year ago today. So, but I know that when any of those situations come to me, I can say, you know what, I've been there. I know how you feel. I really understand. Because a lot of times when you are dealing with things, you don't feel understood
That
and
is
you feel like you're very alone in it. So just to be a source of comfort that, yep, I've been there. Yeah, I did that too. That one too. But I'm here and I survived and I'm happy. And there is another side to this. This is a temporary part of your life, even though it's a tough part.
yeah.
You'll get through it.
I think that's one of the reasons why every time I see you, I'm just hoping, oh, we're just gonna run off and go do our own thing for a minute, right? Like I look forward to when everybody's not paying attention and you and I can just sneak off and just listening to all the things you tell me. I saw you last year in March and I did not have any idea that you'd already lost your best friend.
Yeah,
And then as the year went on, I mean, things got progressively worse. Some of the losses we shared. And
right.
yeah, and it's just difficult. And it's difficult to watch the people around us also be going through the suffering of
Hmm.
the huge loss.
It is.
Yeah. Well, I shouldn't have brought that up. I wasn't ready. But I got to this part of the year and I was thinking, it's almost been a full year that this
Hmm.
pandemic has been in full swing
Yes.
for us here in the United States. And I just
Mhm.
was it didn't occur to me how jaded and it just checked out of life I had gotten because of everything that happened. and it's one on top of the other, and there's no time to deal with one before the next thing hits. And I think
Yeah.
a lot of people are in that space. A lot of
And
people.
I completely agree with that. And I think that that even, not making an excuse, but I think that that kind of was some of my delay too, just trying to like get through these seasons. Cause I don't know if I had a chance to tell you, but both my parents had COVID. Um, my mom and dad, it was like right around Thanksgiving, they weren't feeling well and suggested we not come home. And like that first week of December, they were tested and they both had COVID. And it was so bad that my mother developed the pneumonia that comes with it.
Yeah.
And for a moment, it was really touch and go with her, but she was able to pull through it. My dad was able to get through his at home. My mother had to be hospitalized, and it was really scary because I'm like, oh God, am I going to lose both my mom and my dad at the same time?
Mhm.
Like, what? Okay, what is this? You know? But they both are doing just fine now. Thank
Oh,
goodness.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's been a 2020 was horrible. Then coming into the new year and then losing my uncle to COVID. So
Right. Right.
yeah. Hmm.
And you start looking at it, and you've built resilience, you've built strength coming out of this last year,
Hmm.
but that didn't make any of it easy, right?
No, mm-mm, not at
And
all.
this is where, when I was thinking in my mind, who do I know who always has a way of like putting my feet back on the ground and saying, hey,
Hmm.
you can grow from here. It's always you.
Really?
It is. I don't know if you remember when we went to the mall a few years ago and we just didn't come home.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, I held on to all the things that you talked to me about, just held on to it. And I
Mm-hmm.
think about it all the time. So it replays in my head, even though I'm not calling you every day and texting you all the
Mm-hmm.
time. I still
Hmm.
think, no, Joanette put my feet on the ground and she said, I can see strength in you. And if she can see it, I believe her. I believe her more than I believe a lot of people. I could do this. I could do this. There are very few people where if you tell me something, I'm going to be like, yes, and then replay it and let it
Hmm.
in that, oh, please tell me that didn't show up. Okay, hang on just one moment.
Okay.
So tell me, we were talking a little bit, very little, just in the last
Mhm.
couple of days. How do you reconnect? How do you reconnect to life? It more on a spiritual level.
Okay.
What do you
I
think?
would say, honestly, I pray a lot. I um I like going outside and seeing nature.
Yeah.
It helps. I love being around water because it always reminds me of the wonders of God, His creative ability, the beauty of it all. Um, I I talk to myself a lot. I encourage myself a lot. Come on, Joanette, you can do this. Joanette, come on now. Get
Yeah.
up, girl. You got it. Come on. You got it. Come on. And I also, there's a scripture in the Bible that talks about the cloud of witnesses,
Mhm.
having this great cloud of witnesses. And a lot of times I think of people like my grandmother, who I know is cheering me on, even though she's not here anymore. And I think of people. I told Troy I had a dream, and my dream was a lot of older ladies on my grandmother's porch, and they all had on white. And Miss Rosa was on the porch.
Oh.
My grandmother was on the porch. Some older ladies from my community were on the porch, and they were just laughing and just eating food and having the best time. But when they saw me walk by, my grandmother said to me, it's like she just stopped what she was doing and said, "You're gonna be fine. Just keep on pressing on. You're gonna be fine." And I think about that, I think about the things that they suffered through from that generation,
Yeah.
and it's like, gosh, if they can make it, I can make it too. But I just believe you have to use whatever your it is
Mhm.
to find encouragement in that. You have to have a source of strength outside of yourself.
Can you deep dive a little bit more on that? Because I mean, even listening to you say that you encourage yourself, it's
Mhm.
totally different from what for me, I'm like, no, Jeanette said I could do it. I can do it. And you're telling yourself, come on, girl, you can get this. Right.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So like my friend that passed last year, and it was me helping her get through her dad's passing.
Yeah.
She buried him one week. We were burying her the next week. Um, but she was someone that always says to me, she would always say, Joan, you got this. Joan, come on. Joan, you smart. Girl, you can do this.
Yeah.
And it would just be unsolicited. I mean, she could just pick up on maybe something I was feeling, and she
Mhm.
would say, Joan, you can do it. Joan, you better take that job. You can do this, like all the time. She was my cheerleader all the time. That's why her passing was so tough, because and even Troy tells me, he used to tell me all the time, he said, you're the smartest woman I know. And I'm
Yeah.
like, man. He said, I can come to you with so many different topics, and you have information. He
Yeah.
said, you're like the smartest lady I know.
Yeah.
And he'll tell me, John, you can do that. He's my cheer. So he encourages me too a lot,
Yeah.
a lot. Um, my kids too. They're like, because when I got this job, my son said, oh, so oh, you might be the next mayor. And I'm like, look, boy, I'm the HR director. He's like, I don't know, mom, because he said the world needs somebody like you. He'll tell me that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it does come from other places outside of me as well. But at the same time, I always think about David and how the scripture says clearly, he said he encouraged himself in the Lord. And there's sometimes you just got to encourage yourself. You just got to say, Pella can do this. She is worthy. She can do this. She is strong, and she is deserving of wonderful things. And that's just got to be your attitude.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Definitely something to work on. Like it's not that easy to say all of that, but
I
yeah.
understand. I understand. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I do.
That is so beautiful. And also, I'm probably going to end up having to cut this out so that Troy doesn't look at me sideways. But he
Okay.
is the prince of the Freemans. I know this. So whatever he says has like all this weight behind it. So if he says you're the smartest woman, the rest of us are like, yes, you are correct. The prince has said so. And this is where he's like, man, I don't
Yeah.
want to talk to her. It's okay. It's okay. Still love you, Troy.
Oh boy. But yeah. So.
Oh, I appreciate that your son sees something in you, because I think there's a lot that can be said when your children can see
Mhm.
who you
Mhm.
are. And I think it takes a lot of work to set a worthwhile example for your kids.
Oh my
What do you say
gosh.
to people who are in that place, who are struggling right now for, a myriad of reasons, and they're trying to show up for their kids? What do you tell them now?
I would tell them to, first of all, don't forget to show up for yourself first.
Mm.
Um, we as women, we just give and we give and we give. And so many times we're so depleted
Yeah.
because we've given everything we have.
Yeah.
And that includes our children, because mom is gonna go to bat for her kids, right? But at the end of the day, we give to the point that we give out, and we forgot to keep something for us. And I would never forget when I heard Michelle Obama say, um, they were asking her about why does she, work out so much and blah, blah, blah. And she just said that that was something she does for herself.
Yeah.
She has to take care of Michelle before she can take care of the rest of her family.
Right.
And in that moment, I thought about the airplane. When you get on when you fly, they always tell you to put the oxygen mask on you first
Hmm.
before you put it on your children, because they know if you don't make it, they're not gonna make it, most likely.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of how you have to live. So I would tell anyone that's going through right now, it's not selfish to pray for yourself. It's not selfish to just have a moment and meditate and set the pace for your day. That's not a selfish thing at all. As a matter of fact, your family will be better for it if you just take a moment for yourself, reflect,
Mhm.
pray, say some positive affirmations for you and for your children. You'll feel better and they'll be better for it. They'll
Yeah,
be better for it. Yep. But our kids, we have to just shower them with a lot of love, but just don't forget to love you too.
yeah,
And
yeah,
whatever that translates into for you, like for me, I like massages. I love massages. Troy's like, you get a massage? It's COVID. I said, I wear a mask. They wear masks. They have lots of safety protocols. I need that for me.
yeah,
That's my thing.
yeah.
So you have to figure, because it reminds me to take care of me.
Right,
So
right.
you have to take care of yourself. You have to, and you can be so much better for your children.
That brings me around to one more point, just one more point.
Okay.
Self-love. This whole idea of self-love, it is not easy. It really
It's not
isn't.
easy.
How do you
No, I
tackle that?
agree. Self-love is very difficult, I think. And it seems like it should be a very natural thing,
Mhm.
but it's not. It's very difficult. In particularly, I think it goes back to several things. How did you grow up? Did you grow up with lots of affirmation? Um, did you grow up with a lot of confidence?
Mhm.
And a lot of times, if you didn't, situations will come to take your confidence all the more from you.
Yeah,
And I feel like that's a lot what happened with me. I knew my parents loved me, they took care of me, they were good to me, but there was not one of the things I have discovered about myself. I love affirmation. I don't have to have a lot of gifts. I don't have to have a lot of, I don't have to have the big new car and the super fancy those. But when people say they love me, when people, are cheering for me, they're sharing their words with me. That's what affirms me.
yeah,
And growing up, I didn't have a lot of that type of affirmation. My, I had the, they provided and all of that,
right.
but I felt like I grew up with some gaps with self-love too. And because I did, I made a lot of bad decisions earlier on in my life.
Mhm.
I made decisions that further took away from my self-love rather than enhancing it or complementing the love that I was supposed to have for myself. So I had to do the work.
How did you figure out that you had to do the work? What tipped you off that, hey, I gotta make some changes?
Well, probably my first marriage.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
we're
Um,
being honest.
I mean, the guys I would hook up with,
Mhm.
guys that would be like might be a really good guy. Like I think what I realized for me, even as a child, some of the things I went through as an experience as a child,
Mhm.
I think that I grew up feeling like it was my responsibility to fix people.
Oh, okay, that hurt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I feel attacked. It's fine. It's fine.
Made it. But that was, and I decided to do some counseling.
Mhm.
And what they told me was, and I was I remember, I'll never forget the lady saying it to me. I was really angry with her after that. But I was like, she told the truth, so why are you mad? But she told me, she said, yeah, you like to fix people. You think you're their savior, and you're not. And you are destroying yourself because you're trying to save people who don't want to be saved.
Oh,
And that's not your job. And she also told me I was a sabotager. And she said that when good things come to you, because you're accustomed to always having to fight for everything,
yeah.
you don't realize when the fight is over. Just relax. And that was some valuable information for me because I was a sabotager because I had always been in chaotic situations.
Yeah.
So if there was no chaos, I
You
wasn't
created
comfortable.
it. Yeah.
So
Do
you
you
create.
have an example that stands out in your mind?
Yeah, I do. Like, well, I hate to keep saying relationships,
Yeah, those are
but
fun.
yeah, even friendships, just trying to find drama in friendships.
Mhm.
When, they were really peaceful people, peaceful friends, people who would be supportive of you, but you're not accustomed to that. So you question it. You're very suspicious of people like that. But in essence, everybody's not out to get you. I mean, but I would just create drama in the friendships just because I wasn't comfortable,
Yeah,
because I have had a sabotaging mentality.
yeah.
And if it wasn't someone for me to save, there's
Why am
nothing
I
for me
here?
to do
Yeah,
here. Yeah. Why
yeah.
am I here? Yeah. And she was like, and I, because I had to talk through some of those with the counselor. And she said to me, she was like, why can't you just rest in a friendship? Why can't you just rest in relationships? And I had to go all the way back to my childhood about some things and go back and get the little girl. She said, go back to the little girl
Uh-huh.
and tell her it's okay. So, and sometimes I still have to tell her it's okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Because this thing sometimes is a journey, right?
yeah,
But I have to go back. I have to remind myself, it's okay, Jonah. They don't need you to do everything.
yeah,
You don't have to fix it.
yeah.
Um, he's okay. Just calm down. Um, just relax and enjoy. Enjoy your life.
You sound like you had this incredibly intense personality. I have never seen you are one of the most enjoyable people to be around. So I'm wondering how many corners did you turn?
I've turned a lot of corners, and I think that a lot of people wouldn't even know that I had internalized so much of this.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because a lot of things about me, even in how I grew up, because there was some addiction in my childhood, and you were always taught to internalize things.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of things that I just had not even sought out about myself until I was well into adulthood, well into adulthood. Um, and you get to a place where I remember I used to teach women, this women's group, and I would tell them about, I said, I used to call it you and the other you,
Ah,
because there's one you that people see,
yeah.
but then there's another one that who you really are.
One you
That's who
have to
you
live with.
really, when you take the mask off.
Yeah.
So they would know, like when I would see them out and about, I would say, we'd just be talking, and I'd say, your mask is cracking. And they knew what I meant. They knew what I meant.
Like, don't tell people. That's
Yeah, don't tell anybody. It was just our code.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, your mask is cracking. You call me if you need me, call me, but your
Yeah.
mask is cracking. I see you smiling, but I see something else behind that smile. Just give me a call. Let's talk about it.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, and I learned how to be the other. I learned how to be the lady with the mask. I was great at being her. Super. Oh, I don't have. Hey, how's everybody doing? Uh, but inside, I'm like, why can't I get along with this lady? What am I jealous of her? I mean, just really repressing so many things, trying to understand who I really was.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you are really mixed up inside,
Mhm.
I would tell anybody, I'd rather have a problem outside of myself than have one internally, because I can't get away from me.
Right. Right.
I may be able to step away
Everywhere you
from
go,
that.
there you are.
Right.
Hmm.
Everywhere I go, I'm right here with the problem. So I had to face it. I had to face it. I've cried a lot of tears.
Yeah.
Um, I have, asked for a lot of forgiveness in my life.
Mhm.
And and I don't have a problem with that. My brothers tell me sometimes, you sorry for everything. Well, I'd rather be sorry for everything than not to be able to tell somebody I'm sorry. So I'm quick to say, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry. And they're like, oh my God, you're sorry for everything. I'd rather do that than to be somebody who can't say that they're sorry, who can't say I messed up.
Right.
Because that's important to say, you know what? I
Poison to
messed
your soul if you can't get that out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. Yep.
Yes.
So
Where do you think the courage came from to face all of that? Where did, yeah.
I think the courage came from my children. They
Really?
were a big source of the courage, yeah, because I did not want to pass on some of my toxicity to them.
Mhm.
I wanted to be able to really be honest about what I'm feeling, and I wanted to promote that with them. How are you feeling? What's going on with you? Be honest with yourself. It's okay not to be okay today. If you're not okay today, it's okay. Tomorrow's coming. But don't say you're okay if you're not okay. I'm your mom. You don't have to put on that facade with me.
Yeah.
You know, so I think a lot of it came from my friends. I mean, from my children, and a lot of it came from God. Most of it came from Him because He'll tap you and say,
You
"Yeah,
know what? Yeah.
yeah, yeah." So He got me first.
Yeah.
He got me first, and then my children were a source to help me to really take the courage, have the courage to look at myself,
Yeah.
for them, for me, for Him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to be the person that people see. I wanted to be her for real. I wanted to be her for real without all the junk going on inside of me, without all the hurts that I continued to carry, without all the unforgiveness that I harbored,
Wow.
without all the broken places still broken inside of me.
Mhm.
So it's a lot of work. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of praying. It was a lot of reading books. But I wanted to be free from me.
Isn't that it's profound because it's not easy.
No.
That's a difficult journey for anybody to take. And I always
Mhm.
wonder like what kicks it off for different people. Where
Mhm.
do you hit that wall and say, okay, I gotta do something different?
Well,
How do
I
you get
think
the strength to keep doing it? Because it's not, I mean, it hurts. It hurts.
yeah,
It's
it
so
hurts. It
yeah.
does hurt. It hurts, and it hurts when others may do something to hit that spot.
Oof.
You
Yes.
know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah.
still
It's still
tender.
tender. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so no, it definitely hurts, but the rewards outweigh the pain. The freedom that you feel, the peace that you feel with yourself, and um, being able to go back into old situations sometimes, see some people from your past, and they can see that you've been made new. Um, and that life is really different for you now from a sincere place. Those are the things that just make you just want to keep going and share your story. Because
Right.
I'm always being asked, like, how did you survive this? And why don't you hate? And I don't want to hate. I don't have time to hate.
Right.
I want to be a light in the earth. I don't know. I know that I may have more days behind me than I have ahead of me. I
Hmm.
don't have time for that.
Right.
I don't have time for that kind of energy.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy my family. I want to enjoy my husband. I want to enjoy my children, my grandbaby,
Oh, and
my
that's beautiful.
you
Yes.
know, my just be happy and joyous and free. I don't want to do that. So I'm
I
intentional about it.
yeah, I think about what you said at the beginning when we were talking about before we even started officially. And you
Mhm,
said you want to understand, well, you understand what it's been like for, people be in situations like this and that and this because you've been through
mhm,
all of it.
mhm, mhm.
And now you say, and I don't have time to hate, to be angry, to be I'm telling you that the whole idea of having empathy, of having understanding for other people changes everything.
It does.
Yeah.
Truly, it does. Now my approach is when when some of those situations come up, a young lady just called me last week, and she's in a very abusive situation, and she has children,
Mm-hmm.
and she called me and she was just sobbing, and when I spoke with her, I had no judgment, only love.
Yeah.
Let's get to a solution. It's not, well, why do you stay in there and what, none of that. Because I've been where you are.
Yeah.
So how can we okay, what do you want to do? Let's talk about the impact it's having on you. Let's talk about your boys. Let's talk about how this thing can take on a life of its own if you don't do something. But in all my conversation with her, it all came from a place of being empathetic and a
Mm-hmm.
place of letting love lead. You
Nice.
always got to lead with love, always.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I agree.
yeah.
Okay, so 2021. Wow.
Mhm.
Almost had a time machine
Yeah.
to work there. 2021. Before we
Mhm.
go, what advice do you have for people? What do you think would make the biggest impact on the lives of many this year?
I think it makes me think about all of the DEI initiatives that are going on, diversity, equity, and inclusion work that's going on. And just met with the group a couple days ago. And the last thought I left with them is we can talk about complicit biases and sensitivity training and all of those things. But at the end of the day, treat people like you want to be treated.
Right?
If you would just stop um, and treat someone like you want to be treated or treat them like someone you love, a lot of our problems will go away. If I have food and you don't, guess what? I share my food because I wouldn't want to be hungry.
Right.
If you have resources that I don't, you would share your resources with me because you wouldn't want to be in the position that I'm in. And
Right.
if we would just stop for a moment
Yeah.
and and look at the value that we have to ourselves. We love ourselves. We love our families. We love our extended families. Now give that same love and that same care to other people on your job. Be considerate. Kindness doesn't cost anybody anything. You
Right.
can't just say hello, good morning. I mean, just treat people with the respect and with the kindness that you would want somebody to treat you, the way you would want somebody to treat your children.
Right.
Remember that as a barometer. And if we all just did that, the world would change. The world would immediately improve. But
Right.
if we were all willing to
Yeah.
do that, yeah,
Yes.
that would
Just
be
one
my
person making
one
those
person.
choices makes a huge difference.
It makes a huge difference.
Huge.
And we always look for this big, and that's what I was saying to the
Complicated. Big and
group.
complicated.
Yes, this big complicated thing. It's really simple.
Yeah.
We have to value humanity. We have to value one another.
That is it.
Forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't forget that. So I don't know if we talked about what you had asked me about. I'm sorry if I went off on a tangent.
Do you know that if we hadn't gotten there, I would have already redirected?
Okay.
I'll be honest. My favorite thing is when you get talking, or anybody, when you start talking, you talk about things you love. I don't stop it.
Okay.
So we
Okay.
got, yeah, you gave me some real gems. Lots of good stuff. I
Awesome.
appreciate it.